Welcome to episode 15 of the Hovercraft Origin series. This is a 1940 Ford sedan delivery, the Coca-Cola edition. It's a 1/25th scale AMT kit. And just wait till you see what's in that cargo area. You're not going to believe it. There's a lot to talk about on this one. I've got plenty of old photos on my computer, and I was thinking that maybe during this Origin series we could show some of the processes I used in building this. And like I said earlier, wait till you see what's in that cargo area. You might notice it's a little shorter than the original kit. I've moved the front end in so far that the back of this fender now covers about a third of the door. You'll see on the original kit there was plenty of space for the door to open, so I've then carved the door section out to fit so it would open over the fender. Doing that modification required a new hood. This one needs to be short and stubby. I attempted to modify the hood that came with it, and I could not do it. Then I tried a Volkswagen Bug front hood. When I put that on, all I could see was VW Bug. So that wasn't going to work. Finally came up with this solution. This hood came off a 53 Studebaker, and it's had some sides added to it. Not my best work, but it fits. And I did leave these two sides open as if it could intake some air. There's nothing very interesting under the hood. That's where I keep the button battery and the switch to turn the lights on and off. There's a switch right here, and that turns the headlights on and the tail lights on. Here's the hood. It's made up of a few different pieces. The sides here have been added, and these two circular things were added because it had such a large gap. I needed something to fill that gap. Well, it kind of looks like some of the engine detail is sticking out. The headlights are made with 3-volt, 1.8 millimeter LEDs. They are the cool white. On the front, we've got a chin splitter with 2 oblong intakes for the 2 front side thrusters, a visor. I love the intricate visor and all the mechanical flaps on it, the mechanical flaps in the back. You can see all the intakes. That tells you it's feeding something massive back there. Hint, hint. If you've watched my other videos, you'll see how I use a V8 engine block to make these side thrusters on most of my hover cars. This car is different. I used Gundam pieces as the base for the 2 side thrusters. Each Gundam piece was large, and I was able to fit them up under the fenders. I did have to do some modifications to get them to fit. Cut the back off here and then extended this outward. And you can see that I added a piece of that styrene staircase that I use so often. It's a tight fit, but I use that shape to come around in this little recessed area, and I think it makes a decent fit. I added these vents in the back, added the styrene tube for the exhaust. Put this plate on the bottom of the door like a heat shield from the heat from the thrusters. The rear side thrusters for a very large Gundam piece. I added these 3 styrene tubes as exhaust ports. There's a side wing for maneuverability, maybe an air brake of some kind, this hydraulic cylinder, and the lines going to it. And now we're going to look at one of the most interesting parts on the car, and that is the rear. A lot of cool stuff back here. Look at those taillights. They remind me of the Cadillac Escalade. There are 2 LED lights inside that strip, and there's a thin strip of diffused transparent acrylic covering those. I'm going to turn the lights down so we can get a better look at how cool these look. I love that detail on this. That's really cool. And there's the fronts. These are cool white. Notice I also drilled a hole down through the top of the headlight bezel and then stuck a small piece of transparent orange or amber plastic in there for the parking lights. But yeah, I could not be happier with those taillights. Those are so cool. Really a neat effect. And I like the shape of the wing against the side of the van. I think it looks great. Most of the time when I create these hover cars, I don't have a complete vision of what the final product's going to end up like. This van, when I picked the box up off the shelf at the hobby store, I saw this large cargo area, and I was like, well, I gotta put a giant turbine back there of some kind. And that's exactly what we did. So get ready for this. Notice we have the 2 intakes on the top and the 2 side intakes, because this thing's gotta breathe. It's a massive turbine. You open the door in the back and slide up the turbine. That thing's a monster. A true monster. That is made from 2 wheel rims that came off a 1/25th scale semi-truck and a bunch of greeblies. Take it out and look at it. Let's see, that's a wheel rim from a semi-truck. It mounts on that post in there. And it has a slide that runs in that channel. Keeps it straight. Door goes up. This one would close, but as I showed you earlier, it's completely broken. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so since I started recording, things have started falling apart. The 2 side intakes both broke off within seconds of each other. And one I was able to get out, one fell inside. So this comes apart, as you can see. We're just going to take it apart. All right, before we take this apart, if you've watched my other videos, you'll know I like options. I like to be able to take the parts off. And this is not glued, it's just pinned. And to show you how detailed I am about my models, this is not a fake hood scoop. I do not like fake vents. This actually goes into the car. I created those for some realism. Um, I wasn't sure how far I was going to take this model, but sure looks cool, right? And there's the scoops I made out of styrene. Not a bad look. I didn't quite finish them up because you wouldn't necessarily see those. Now here's another thing. This roof rack tail section is also pinned. I believe in pinning anything you can, if possible. So that comes off. This is glued, but as you can see, it's come loose. So there we are, some without the optional wing attachment. Okay, so now we got those off. Let's take it apart. Okay, you can see here's the mess of wires that lie under the hood. But here you can see the Gundam pieces that reside under the fenders. And there we go. There's the interior. Notice it's a single seat. And this is my only hovercar that uses like flight sticks instead of a flight yoke. So you would grab those with your hands and do your maneuvering that way. Some buttons were added to the dashboard. Made this little centerpiece. And then there's the back end. All the details inside. Greeley Haven. Let's check out this undercarriage. A lot of stuff under this one. I think this is my most detailed undercarriage. So these were going to be landing gear, but they actually end up turning into additional thrusters. Maybe a part of maneuvering. These have a little movement to them. They used to be able to fold up into the body, but they broke off so many times that they're just permanently glued in place. They actually folded up and would hide up in here. You could still see them, but they were tucked up in there really well. They don't look bad hanging out from the bottom of the car. So one of the things I end up with a ton of in my inventory is fan belts, pulleys, any type of belt drive pulleys. I put as many of them as I could in there. There's at least 10 to 12. I got rid of them. You can see alternators. But they're all wedged between these two base units. There's pulleys and belts and pulleys and belts. Unfortunately, my wiring is a mess. It was wired to the base at one point, and then I converted it so that it was all self-contained, and the battery lies under the hood now. And I did not do a really good job of rewiring it from the base. I kind of left it a mess, as you can see. If I'm not mistaken, these come off. They're held on by a single peg. Oh, I'm scared. Scared. Oh, there we go. Yes. Held on by a single peg. Put the little hydraulic cylinder in there. And this is obviously Gundam piece. I made the little attachment point for that wing. There we go. That's one of the benefits of making things out of Gundam pieces is a lot of them interlock with each other. And you just stick them on relatively easy. I went all out on this one. It was a fun build. All right, let's put this guy back together. This hood has always been difficult to put on correctly. Never fit quite right. There's many things on this I would have liked to have redone. And I believe now that I can look back that this car was definitely a quantity over quality issue. I believe I tried too many things on this car and really skimped out on the paint. The paint doesn't look very good. The paint's really actually very bad. Overall build is, I'm happy with. But the putty work I did on the front here and the filling the door in, it's not great. And I wish I could have done it better, but I don't consider myself a very good finish painter. When it comes to making cars shiny and beautiful, it's not my forte. I'd much rather make a car dirty and grimy. But I mean, I have done shiny cars before, I have done shiny cars before, and I don't have the patience to do the beautiful paint jobs because I always screw them up. And I end up having to redo the paint, and I get frustrated. That's about as good as we're going to get for this episode of putting this back together. Here's one more look with the lights down real low. I do have my computer on. Unfortunately, the red light from the computer is showing. But one last look with the lights down low. And that's going to do it for this episode. I thank you so much for joining me and checking out this car. If you enjoyed this content, please click the like and subscribe buttons. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see the next build in the Origin series, please click the link above. Thank you so much. Have a great day.